Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another interview with a successful high-level systems client. This client's name is David, and David has been able to grow from sub $10,000 a month to, in his first 3 weeks of being in high-level systems, selling more than $50,000 worth of his program. And there's only really a few key changes we made for him. It's just a classic case of you don't know what you don't know. And you hear me repeat this over and over again in our content that, look, until you get people telling you what you need to do, you're just gonna kind of be running blind. And it's funny because David gave us a lot of resistance. I had to follow up with him, and it took him some time to finally kind of make the decision. And he says that his wife actually helped him make the decision, so he gives her a lot of the credit, which I think is really sweet. But we're just gonna kind of break down in this interview what he's doing to get so much success so quickly in his business, and as well, what his decisions are going to be moving forward. We're seeing that he might become a one-on-one client, help him scale to $100,000, $200,000 a month in his business over the long term, which is going to be a lot of fun. And so for David, I think the key takeaways for me of watching him are, once you have that conviction that when you make this investment to join high level or coach or a program, that if you are truly ready and you're in that mentality of I'm just going to do whatever they tell me to do, and sort of translate it my own way and see what false beliefs I had, and then you're not just trying to get everything you can and just kind of being like an information hog and just trying to get as much as you can out of the program in terms of time and attention, but you're trying to get the most out of the program in terms of your own action level, and you're taking as much action off the content that you're getting and the advice that you're getting, which is exactly what David did. And we've got another interview coming up soon with another client that it's very similar, where I pretty much had maybe 40 minutes with them, and now they've gone on to 10x their business. So very similar case studies, client to client. It's people that just need the right thing, and then they just go and they do it. So this is a great interview. I recommend watching it in full. David is very quickly becoming another one of our top clients out of high level. And we're still one of the only people in this industry that I know where the head of the program takes the time to sit down and really hear, okay, why did this work for you? And as well as why did this work for you, what isn't working for you that you're gonna change? And then what's your plan for growing? And then what would you have told yourself when you were just getting started? So these are very informative videos. So if you're watching any of my content on YouTube, this should be your favorite material to watch, because this is purely results driven. This is people getting results and sharing how they're getting them. And hopefully it validates what I'm saying in our other pieces of content when I'm giving you guys advice for free, that what we do works consistently. And when people make the choice to work with people that know what they're talking about and can help you and have your best intent in mind, that the only way to go wrong is to just not do what you're being told. But David was the opposite. So welcome to the channel, David Mormon. Total pleasure to be spending some time with David. He's becoming a friend as well. He's adding a lot of value to our group calls. You get 6 months access to daily support calls. And David's been one of these guys where it's almost like I can just be quiet and let him help, because he just understands this stuff so quickly and just has taken tons of action. So once again, welcome David to the channel. Excited to have you, my friend. And be sure to watch this whole thing. All right. Mr. David, welcome to the channel, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Of course, dude. I introed you a little bit before this for the viewers so they kind of understand where you're coming from, but kind of help us understand what your experience has been. I mean, you've had an incredible growth recently where I think right before we turn on the recording, it's been barely 4 weeks, maybe 3 weeks into the program. We've raised your prices, you're selling more, you're getting more per client, your clients are just as happy, and you're on track for what I see as $1 million a year business, helping correct me if I'm wrong, it's home service-based businesses scale their operations, get out of the day-to-day work, and build a real business. So it's a really cool thing you're doing. And if you just want to confirm that that's all right, and that I'm correct on all of that, and then we'll kind of get into what's worked and what hasn't for you.
Yeah, man, you nailed it. So I'm branded as the home service business coach. So I've been fortunate enough over my years of doing this. I've scaled up a couple painting businesses. I've got a pressure washing business and also Christmas lights. So I've really been immersed in this home service industry, which tends to be really fragmented with a bunch of dudes and girls that get kind of stuck on the truck, and they end up just owning a job in their own business. And so I've come at it from another approach saying, hey, you can actually build some basic business systems to get more freedom, make more money, and get your time back. And so that's really been resonating in the market. And so, Trey, you've helped structure my offer around that. And we've went with now, what I see as a high ticket offer from where I started. And we're 3 to 4 weeks in, you're right on that. And I feel like I'm just getting momentum. And I don't want to say I'm getting lucky, because I don't really believe in getting lucky. Like, I've been putting in the reps, but just getting some direction the last few weeks has been super cool. So my wife makes fun of me. I say, like, when I wake up in the morning, like the night before I go to bed, it feels like it's just like Christmas the next morning, because I just get to like dive in and be a crazy entrepreneur. So it's been lots of fun.
That's awesome, dude. That's a great place to be. Yeah, it was cool when you came in, and it was just so clear what the problems were for you. And just like everybody who books a call, it's just a very discovery-based process where just a lot of questions. And it's funny too, because you were one of those prospects for us that took a lot of work. Like, I'll be honest, like, I knew for a fact we could help you, and it was just like follow up. So it's pretty cool to see that it paid off. Because in the back of my head, I'm always like, look, are they seeing something I'm not, or can I not trust my intuition here? But no, I mean, we mean it when we say it. We work with people we know we can help, so it's really cool to have seen, it's very validating to watch the process for somebody, just applying the concepts and the principles and seeing them work. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but that it was really neat to see how quickly things changed. And that's not everybody, but I think you were so ready to just go all in.
Yeah, man. So for me, for the listeners, for the viewers, I really wanted to be kind of at like 8, 9, 10 grand a month to kind of convince myself, like, hey, this is going to turn into a business and isn't just a little, side income business. And so I really wanted to get to that point. I had been like binge watching Trey on YouTube, watched tons of his videos, some of these, interviews as well. And so I really had it in my mind that I wanted to join in. For me, it was just a matter of timing. I also think if you look at like an entrepreneurial scale of like Musk and Steve Jobs being like a 10, I'm probably like a 2, 3 maybe. Like, I'm not super like,
I feel the same way, dude.
Yeah, man, this lot just like, I don't really believe in like, I know there's good debt, bad debt, but I'm just like very methodical, planned out. I'm a very analytical person. I'm a CS on the disc chart. And so I just love to analyze and make sure. But once I like commit, I'm just like, this is the lane now. I'm not a dabbler. If I like pick one thing to do, I'm just like, okay, this is where we're going. So yeah, I was probably a bit of a bigger boulder to push down the hill, but I feel like now that we're moving, I'm just like, this is good.
You committed, man. And we always see there's 2 levels to the sales process. There's the financial commitment, and then there's like the process commitment. Like, if I can sense that somebody's got the money, like, we have people come on the call and they're like, hey, we're ready to go. I've got the money right. And I'm like, you don't even know like what you're about to commit to. So like, I'm not going to that's not how this works. So yeah, dude. And I think you were getting to a place where you were process committed. And then once you were there, you were just all in. So help me understand what changes were made. What would your advice be for, I guess really the way I like to ask this question, what would your advice be for somebody who is in your situation, who's wanting to get to your current situation, who was where you were, or who is where you were before, that now wants to get to where you are now? What changes did you make? How did you make those changes? And how are you planning to continue to scale?
Yeah. So the big thing, like I'm only talking a few weeks into this, so you can see the value already I've got. But for me, a big one was the offer creation. Working with Trey, I've now, doubled the size of my offer. I've also lengthened out my program a bit to get clients better results. I'm perfecting my like group coaching model, which my clients are getting great results, which I'm super stoked on. So if you're like, I don't want to say like I would have wanted to come in earlier, but honestly, like I probably would have liked coming in maybe a month or 2 earlier, because you think you got it all in your head and you go down this rabbit trail with your current offer, and then you hire a coach like Trey in high level, and you're like, oh crap, now I gotta, these other people are like, well, hold up, I thought your offer was like X amount. And then it's like, actually, so it almost can look bait and switch, which wasn't my intention. And so I would say building a business, you're like hiking up a mountain, and, rather than just like go hack your way up in the woods, why not just go with a guide, like when you're ready? So I'd say as soon as you're like, this isn't a rinky-dink business, I'm fully sold in to do this, that's the day I would go get a coach. So I'd say I let it go 30 to 60 days, a little too long, where I can only imagine if I did it even longer, we'd have even more work to do. So I'd say build it right from the start, and your future self will thank you. And it's like easy for someone to say who's in the program, but 3.5 weeks ago, I wasn't in the program. So it shows you how much mental work can be done with your mindset as well in a community like this.
Yeah. And it is all internal, man. Like even before this call, we were just doing like a little bit of catch up and a little bit of coaching, because I haven't gotten, we've really only had the one-on-one as far as I can remember. And, we were just talking about like, your mindset behind your pricing and like the next steps you have to take. And, it's funny, like I noticed like a confliction in your thinking. I was like, well, you said this, now you're saying this. And like, it really is like, for me, the job of what we do is knowing what works and then calling out our clients like self-imposed BS. It's just like very forward. Like, here's what works, here's what doesn't, and here's what you're saying you're going to do, and then here's what's actually happening, and then like, here's what you said your goals were, and what's, it's just like holding people accountable to their own goals. But I mean, that's honestly, that's plenty about our offer. I want to get very specific about your business, what's working for you, what isn't, because there's going to be people, even like my little brother Zane is, in your industry. He's got a landscaping business that he's grown to, he did like 6 figures his first year, and he's going to be like helping people start and grow their own. Just very similar. So almost like as if you're talking to my little brother, what would you tell him to be doing to grow your coaching business? What would you be doing from the start to have made this past, I don't know how long it's been since you've started your coaching business, but the past amount of time there, more effective? So kind of give that beginner advice if you're willing to share it.
Yeah, totally. Shout out to Zane Cockrum. Yeah. So, like you're asking what advice I'd have for Zane to kind of grow his business. Is that kind of what you want to get at?
Yeah. People with expertise that are wanting to sell it. And particularly if there's anything specific to your industry that you feel is there, I'd be curious to hear.
Yeah. I mean, I think you gotta, you want to structure your offer properly. So for me, it was, we got to go in with a group coaching offer, a done with you offer. That's a huge one. Before I met Trey too, I was doing 1-to-1 Zoom calls, and I just like burned myself out. I'm like, hey, this is not the way to grow a business. You're stretching yourself so thin to everybody, then you're really nothing to anybody. So that would be one for sure. And then just like, Trey, our first call we had, you're just like, man, you've scaled up a big business. Why is your offer so rinky dink? Like, let's put on our big boy pants and bam. So like, I think just having that confidence in knowing what I've done and being able to sell it as such. But yeah, I think the group model, and then like I said off the top, a lot of these guys are just they don't know what they don't know. And so it's kind of your job to make your offer so enticing and convince themselves of the pain that they're currently in. I'm sweating on the truck. I'm doing the same thing day after day. There's no money in the bank account. I don't have a team. And like, obviously it works because people have scaled up their pressure wash business before. So I keep going back to it, but it just does all come back to your mindset and how you see yourself as an entrepreneur. And day one, the people I work with, it's like, what's your identity as a in your career? Are you a pressure washer cleaning things, or are you a business person who owns a cleaning business? They're completely detached identities. And so you have to get very clear on who you are and who you're there to serve.
Mm. So from day one, you're doing internal work with your clients.
Yep,
That's
100%. Figuring out where they're currently at, where they want to get to. That's basically my job, to say, grab my hand, we're going to walk together for however long through the program and get you to that end result. I keep going back to that hike analogy, but I do really think it's just so applicable. You are their guide. You're not taking their steps for them, no, but you're saying, let's go this path. It's the most direct. The waterfall will be the best when we get to the end, and I'm gonna be there along the way with you.
That's really cool. And I love that you've got a very simple level of clarity. And I've seen a commonality across all of our successful clients where they have a clear vision for their clients, a clear path of how they're going to get them there, and clear pains that they have to call out to get them started. Right. So like with our marketing, it's like you have expertise, right? And you're just not sure how to get clients, or you're getting some clients and you want to scale, and you just have nowhere near as much money in your bank as maybe some of your competitors, or as you know you could have. There's not as much control. You don't have easy flow in your business. For you, the pain is like they're just in the day to day, they're sweating, they're doing the work, and they just don't, they feel like they've almost built a cage for themselves almost, right?
Exactly, man. We like to say they're technicians trapped in their own business. So I say, let's transition from technician to CEO, right? Working on your business, not always in it. So yeah, they're in the day to day. They're cleaning, they're quoting, they're answering the phone. Like anyone who's ran a home service business, it's an incredibly hands-on experience. And so either you're doing that as the business owner, or you're adjusting your pricing and you're bringing in a team essentially. And it's, I'm not saying it's so easy to go, oh, you have a landscaping business, just go hire a team. Like there's steps you got to take to get there. But again, people are doing it, and it is possible.
That is super cool, dude. So I've got a challenging question for you. What do you think are the main variables that have allowed you to succeed so quickly in our program? Because by no means with this interview am I saying that this is even like the result. It's like the right person, the right time, we can do this.
Mhm.
If I were to take a stab at it, it's you were ready to commit to what we had to say. But I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, man, what a good question. So for me, as I said, I'm not a dabbler. Like I was already in like 42 Facebook groups that have pressure washing business owners. I was friending them. I was I would say I was already not completely green to this. And I already had, 10, 12 people in my program. So I'd been, I know how to run a Zoom call, and I'd already done it. So it sounds like I had some basic building blocks in, but I couldn't scale to where I'm currently at with my old offer. So I think I had like a working knowledge of what I needed to do, but I just didn't know. It was just huge for me, the offer. That was like the biggest one, is how are we structuring it? And then, Trey, on our first call, you're like, literally, what does your coaching do? And I was like, do this, I do this. It's like, no, what does it do? It's like, no, we do this. We get people out of the truck, we get them, show them how to get jobs, and we show them how to make more profit, and get that freedom, income, and time. So just making it as simple as possible. So
Yeah.
I was ready to commit. I had already, I guess, had my own business, might have helped as well. But this online space is just totally different as well, which I was new to. I didn't have a huge audience, I would say, either. I mean, I've got a podcast that's still growing, and I've got a Facebook account. So it's like,
Yeah.
I had a few little things in my toolbox, but it definitely wasn't like I have this massive audience, and it was so easy.
Yeah. And it's interesting, dude. Like I really consider us like back end experts. It's like we've got this. I've got like a 1-to-1 client ready to pay me like my full price, and he's got like 20,000 on YouTube, and he's making like 10 grand a month. I'm like, bro, like there's something wrong here when you have that much influence. And I think it's interesting. I love seeing because it's just such a common like false belief I run into in our sales process. People are like, oh, all your successful clients have big audiences. And I'm just like, no, they don't. Like, you literally, all you were doing was joining groups, adding friends, building relationships, and then you plugged in the right back end, plugged in the right messaging of your offer, had the right frame, and then things clicked, is what it
Yeah,
sounds
man. And
like.
exactly. And for everybody listening, it's like I've spent, I totaled it up this week. I've spent this much on paid ads, nothing. Like, it's just like, it's simple processes, but I think you need to be shown that people are doing it and it obviously works. And then you need your offer right. And that's how the thing really starts scaling. So yeah, it wasn't like I had a huge audience. I think I have some expertise in coaching, and joining high level helped me like package that up in the most efficient way possible, where my time's optimized and still my clients can get great results. And so that, I think that's really what it's done for me. And also like the community has been like a nice byproduct, you know, and I'm only like 3 weeks in, so I feel like I'm really selling it hard, but I still have, you know, people to meet and connections.
We even said like we're gonna do an update interview when you go further. I mean, I just wanted to catch you as it's first happening, because like we've got some update interviews coming soon where people have literally like, oh, we had a $20,000 week, now they're doing $20,000 a week. You know, it's like we just have this consistent steady. So I love telling the story with our interviews, and so I think 4 or 5 months from now we'll do another one for sure, when inevitably you're doing 6 figures a month in the business. I mean, it's just a numbers problem at this point. There's nothing else in the way. So what, with that said, you tell me, based on what you've gotten from high level, based on your own understanding, what do you think is going to help you grow to that next level? Because right now you are at other people's next level. Like, you've already done what other people consider their next level. You've got your next level. What is that level, and what are you going to do either with our help or with your own understanding in order to get there?
Yeah, totally, man. So I'm really, you know, I think business is a team sport. I'm very passionate about growing this. Having said that, I've got 13 employees in my pressure washing business, and employees are awesome. But as I said, it's a hands-on business. There's things that I still, even though I have a team set up, I still need to problem solve. And so for me, this coaching business is one more for lifestyle, and doing what I really love to do is help people. And in pressure washing, you clean someone's house. It's very satisfying. Customer's happy. It's great. Google review, pat on the back. But with coaching, it's like, I've had clients email me that are like, my wife said, like, this coaching is changing our lives. I'm just like, man, that is like so cool. I'm like, that's so much better than just the clean house. So I feel like I'm at this point on earth to help serve clients and systematize and grow their business. So I would like to take this to a point where we're doing, you know, 6 figures a month would be like an absolute dream. You know, I told Trey 3 weeks ago, 50 grand a month is my moonshot. And like, I feel like we're pretty much there, getting there. So I would also love to have like a small team, but a very high powered team, probably have, you know, an assistant coach or two on my team, someone to help me with sales, booking people in, making sure they're a good fit. And then I already have a handful of really strong virtual assistants all around the world, help me with editing and design and this and that. So yeah, I think that's kind of where we're heading, man. I've told my current clients I'm working on an in-person event, and people are pretty stoked for that. Fly up to Canada here and come check out my igloo. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to what's to come. And I think just knowing for me too, like, it's not a rush to get to this goal, right? We were talking about that on our group call yesterday, and we're saying this isn't a microwavable solution. Like, I don't just want 1 month that's great. I want this sustainable for the long term. And so for me, there's not a huge timeline to get there, although we are going quicker than I thought for sure. But yeah, I guess I'm just really thankful and really grateful, and I'm excited for what's to come. So I feel like just doing your reps and putting in the time. But I think you'll know too when it's time to get a coach. You'll feel like a little bit stuck, and you'll just feel like there's this tipping point, like this inflection point where you're like, I want to part way with some money because I want to save like so much of my time. And if I didn't join in with high level, I could have been doing this, man, for another like 2 or 3 years, to be honest, and just would have plateaued, and then we'd have to redo it all. So I think get in when you're ready, and I think you'll know the time's right. But I think I was more on the conservative side, and just I got a push from Trey. I got a push from my lovely wife as well. She's just like, man, you keep talking about this, like just go in and do it. So happy I did, and I feel like we're like just getting started too.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And I think it's important too for people to know, like, you know, with the prospects, like I see them as prospects, right? With the people that give us resistance, it's either they don't trust us or they don't trust the process. It's like one of the two. There's no other reason. And so I'm curious for you, just on kind of honestly on a selfish level, like help me push some people over here. Like what was it for you, and what would you tell to that person, you know?
Yeah, man, I would say you're kind of doing yourself a disservice, to be honest. Like if you don't have like a single 2 pennies to rub in the bank account, like this probably isn't for you. But I'm talking to the person that's like, I've got like 3-4 clients. I know I'm super good at what I offer. I just need someone to like make this more scalable and put a back end behind it. And so I would say just don't leverage yourself. Again, I was coming from my conservative side. It was like, as soon as I saved up some money in the bank, I was like, I need to hire a guide. So I think 1, you got to really want it. And 2, I think have a little bit of proof of concept of like, hey guys, this works. I just need some help tweaking a few things. And in business, man, you can make subtle little tweaks that bam, blow this thing. Like one of my clients this week, I'm like, you've been in business how long? He's like, 2 years. I'm like, tell me about your cadence of email campaigns to clients. He's like, oh, what's that? He never did an email. He sent out an email and he just slacked me. He booked $4,000. And I'm just like, man, like that's the little tweaks you make. That's like, well, bam. So I think you don't know what you don't know. And there's a reason that there's like so many of these case studies on Trey's channel. And I watch them all because I'm just like, you almost just keep needing to convince yourself. So at a certain point, you got to just dive in. And the longer you just sit on the fence, you're just kind of holding back your own growth. So, you know, your business will grow when you grow as a person. And then for those of you coaching, I was telling Trey off air too, it's like, if you're going to sell your coaching services and you don't have a coach, like I almost feel there's a bit of an ethical conviction of like, you obviously believe you're telling your clients to get a coach, yet why aren't you investing the money into your own growth? So I think when you enter that coaching arena, you kind of need your own coach as well. So that was a belief of mine as well. And I'm thankful I did it.
That's cool, man. Well, I think it's been a very valuable interview. If I were a beginner watching this, I can put myself back in the shoes of like, 18-year-old Trey. This would have been some really valuable stuff. So I appreciate your time, David. And I feel like I've gotten a better peek into where you're at as well. And it's given me some clarity of honestly what you do need to do next to get to these multiple six-figure months over the next year, 2 years. So I appreciate your time, dude. Thanks for taking some of your busy day and sharing your journey with us.
Yeah, man. And if anybody wants to hit me up and ask for my experience, I am 100% an open book. So hit me up if you want more in-depth analysis or, beyond this call. I'm always happy to help.
Yeah, I appreciate that, dude. Well, sweet, man. Thanks once again. And I'm looking forward to the update one a couple months from now.
Sounds good.
All right. We thought we'd ended the call here, but then David started telling me some stuff post the recording. I might put this at the front, the back, I don't know. But just tell me what you just told me, David, about your sales process, because I want people to hear
Yeah.
That's a really powerful transformation right there.
Yeah. So, you know, in the first week joining High Level, I got hooked up with this sales script. It was on PowerPoint that Trey got me. And prior to joining High Level, I did 60 sales calls I was on. And, you know, I ended up booking 10 of them, which, you know, hindsight isn't great conversion. And that was even my lower priced offer. So I booked 10 out of 60. Then on my first week, I'm like, okay, now I've actually got a process, a framework, a sales script to actually follow and walk prospects through on my sales calls. And so I've ran 15 of them now, and I've booked 5 at my double priced offer. So
That's crazy.
yeah, man, that's one thing I'd say if you're looking for a push on the fence is even just getting this basic sales script in your hands. You book 1 or 2 of your clients, whatever your offer is, and boom, there's your investment back. But I'll never run it. Like I used to just come on these sales calls as like the Dave show. I'm going to just give free advice for 45 minutes. And then every time I'm like, that was like nice, but then I never hear from that person again, versus now I'm like taking this like alpha assertive role. As soon as they're logged in on Zoom, I'm just like quick rapport build. And then I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, make sure you're a good fit. Does that sound good? Yep. Cool. Let's dive in. So I'm just like surgical with the sales process now.
That's crazy.
And, yeah. And converting 5 out of 15, I'm just like at a higher price offer is fantastic. So that'd be another little tool, not even little tool, it'd be a pretty massive piece of the program, I'd say, because you got your offer, which you want to get nailed down. You got your marketing, which you want to get calls booked. Then you've got your sales call. You want to be really good at that. And then you got your back end. So those are really the 4 things that you need to dial in, I think, if you're going to have a successful online business.
I love it, dude. Thanks for sharing that.